Awesome. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's programming. Thank you for being here. Our event today is sponsored by the SEEK program, in addition to Africana Studies, Queens College Student Associations, the Queens Podcast Lab. My name is Carmine Couloute. I am a faculty here. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's programming.
Carmine, we lost your audio.
And it's a pleasure to have you here. I'm sorry you lost me for a minute. You know, everything happens on Zoom for a reason. So thank you all for your patience. As I was mentioning, I'm a proud faculty member here of the Sociology Department, in addition to the SEEK department. And I also have the amazing co-host, Professor Cohen, here with me. Thank you all for being here. Today, we have two amazing panelists. I can't introduce them enough. I can't say the kind words that I have enough. So I'm going to have them introduce themselves to you, so that way you can get to know them, what they've done, their successes, their trials, and also their achievements so far. And I know that they're going to, be in the Forbes 50 one day, if not earlier. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Chidi Ashley, please.
Hi, everyone. It's so good to be here. And thank you so much for inviting me to chat with you guys today.
Thank you, Chidi. And now, without further ado, Vanessa.
Hi, everyone. I'm Vanessa Canby. And yeah, thanks so much for having me today. So a bit about me. I'm a Scottish Ghanaian presenter, filmmaker, and podcaster. I have a passion to shine a light on untold stories. I was born in Scotland and I moved to Ghana, and I have a social media following of about 180,000 people. And my YouTube channel's got in excess of 20 million views. And I create content about Ghana, where my dad's from, where my heart is, and where I now live. And I've also been a host on a BBC Sounds podcast called Word Up. And I was in a BAFTA-nominated documentary called Black and Scottish. And I've done a lot of radio work and stuff like that as well. So yeah, I'm excited to talk to people who are early on in their journey.
Awesome. Thank you. And speaking about journeys, right? Chidi, what's your journey? Where do you come from? What inspired you to start your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so I was born in Canada, grew up in South Africa, in Nigeria, and moved over to New York. I went to NYU, studied business and marketing, and then I started working in tech for a couple of years. Afterwards, I ended up quitting my job and I moved to Bali, Indonesia, and I started a travel company now called Lux Tribes. And kind of through that journey, I decided to start a YouTube channel and document my experience overseas and all of the cool cultures, hotels, experiences I was having. And so, yeah, it's been a really fun journey sharing that on YouTube, sharing that on Instagram, and building a really supportive community through that, and really utilizing the power of social media to now grow my business and also start another business. So I also own a software company, and social media has been such a key part of growing that company and generating that initial interest in my businesses. So very excited about this conversation, because there's so much that you can do by building an online presence.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think both of your channels highlight the untold stories of people around the world, right? And you're able to get people together, learn about what they can do. And I think sometimes when we think of YouTube, we just think of content creation. What more can you build with YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that you can do with YouTube. Like I said, for me, YouTube is a really great way to start and scale a business. And really, in this day and age, branding is so important. And personal branding is something that is so key. When you think about some of the biggest companies today and emerging companies, you always want to know who's the face behind the product, who's the face behind the company. And people are really buying into stories, right? So as they say, people are buying the story, not just the product. And so I like the idea of using social media to tell your business story, tell your personal story. And that's what I've been able to do with Lux Tribes, my travel company. So by sharing my personal travel experiences, I've gotten so many other people who want to travel to those same destinations that reach out. And so now we've been able to grow to a team of over 20 full-time employees with Lux Tribes. And then really being able to take that capital from that business and then go into the tech space as well, really off of the back of building a social media presence.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Oh, that's so like a lot. And you have like 20 employees that you employ that you're able to bring into the market. That's amazing. And Vanessa, I know you're able to also highlight the stories of people in Ghana and even outside of Ghana. So how does your YouTube bring people in and bring people together?
So when I started my channel, it was actually something totally different. Like I started about parenting. I just had my second child and I was like, oh, you know, I was really into natural birth and stuff. And I just wanted to share my experience and try and help other moms out there. And because I'd taken so much help from YouTube, like I basically spend my life watching YouTube videos. And so I wanted to, you know, give back in that way. And then after my daughter started, you know, growing up and my son, I was like, I'm not really into, you know, talking about that anymore. And I'd actually gone on a trip to Ghana. So I'd been coming to Ghana every 2 years, ever since I was like 3 years old. And I came on a trip and I thought, oh, do you know what? Let me just vlog this experience. And let's say the parenting content was getting about, I don't know, 200 views. I went to Ghana and the video did like 50,000 views. And then I came back again on another trip and it did like 150,000 views. And I realized that, hang on a second, like I absolutely love Ghana. It's something I could talk about all the time. I definitely need to switch the direction of my channel to purely be about Ghana. So I also realized that there wasn't many people at that time. So that was maybe like 3 years ago, focusing on sharing stories coming from Ghana, in sort of like from my perspective, I was kind of focusing on people that had moved to Ghana from the diaspora, because that was also my dream at the time. I hadn't done it. So I went and, you know, spoke to different people, shared their stories, and realized that so many people are doing such amazing things on the continent, like in Ghana. And also, new businesses coming up, I was able to share their stories. And now actually I do quite a lot of real estate videos. And so I'm also able to share that sort of story. But I think it really, there's so many people here that I meet on a daily basis that have moved to Ghana because they've watched my videos, or have come to Ghana because they've watched my videos. So it's obviously had like huge impact that I never really imagined, that it would have.
100% right. And I think sometimes we don't see the impact that we're having until it happens, right? And a lot of us here, especially at Queens College, I think that you mentioned you're switching directions and how you both switched directions and both ended up on YouTube with your businesses also. How many of you in the audience are thinking about switching directions? How many of you watch YouTube? So I think this can also appeal to you also, right? And if I raise a hand, how many of you do watch YouTube? I spend my whole life on it, to be honest. Okay, first of all, cool, awesome. Julia, Keisha, Azia, Tasia, Christopher, awesome. So about like 25%, Nabila. So maybe this is a calling for you. Du Young says, I do, right? This is a calling for you to get active, right? To switch your direction. It's never too late and it's never too early. So my follow-up question is, who did you want your YouTube to reach? How were you able to find your target audience, for example?
Yeah, I mean, I think that people find you. That's the beauty of YouTube, right? And the way that the algorithm works is people who connect with you will find you naturally. For me, a lot of my content is tailored around travel. So if you love to travel, if you love luxury experiences, if you love Bali, because for a big chunk of time, my content was centered around living in Bali, building a house. So a lot of my content is centered around real estate. So travel, entrepreneurship, real estate, remote work. These are the core topics that I share content around on YouTube. And so those were the type of people I wanted to attract, as people who shared those interests, and YouTube kind of pushed them to your door. And if people are staying, watching, connecting, sharing, you'll naturally see that it just kind of explodes at some point. And it takes time, but it happens.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I also think that for me, I knew what I was passionate about and what I could talk about. And I knew that the people that also were interested in that would watch. I think when I switched direction to actually talk about Ghana as well, I was very conscious that there is this perception of Ghana out there, of, you know, sub-Saharan Africa. And I basically just wanted to kind of like change the narrative in a way, because my friends in Scotland, especially when I was younger, when I was going like 16, I was telling them I was going to Ghana. They literally thought, I don't know where they thought I was going, but they had no idea of the experience that I was having, you know, going to like amazing nightclubs, hotels, having really nice experiences. So I just wanted to show that to the world. I wanted to just change people's perceptions. So I think that's who I wanted to reach. And who I did reach was definitely people that want to like connect to their roots, move to Ghana, quite a large like African American audience. So my audience is mainly in America, and then I've got the UK, Germany, and then Ghana is actually smaller. So yeah, it's kind of like around the world, people that are interested in Ghana.
Yeah, awesome. It's funny how both your accounts were able to explode and also hit different sectors and different markets. And we have a question from Joey. I love when students give questions. So again, if you have a questions, please feel free to share it. Your questions definitely come before mine and ours, because we want to hear your voices. Joey asks, how important is it to niche down? Do you see the most growth when you niche down? So yeah, the question about building your niche.
Yeah, I think it's so important to find a niche. And again, it goes back to one, that's the easiest way to attract and build a community. So for example, when I first started posting online, a lot of people kind of think that the number of followers equates to the amount of money that you can make on social media, for example. But when you have a really loyal, small community, you can make so much more than if you have 100,000 people that don't necessarily care about what you're talking about. When you have a clear audience, so for example, I had a clear audience that loved to travel and wanted to find other people that also enjoyed traveling. So even when I had 10,000 followers, I was still able to make multiple six figures from, you know, speaking about my travel experiences to my audience and getting them to really buy into that, right? Versus, you know, sometimes you might have 100,000 followers that don't necessarily connect with any particular story. So I would definitely suggest finding a niche. And that's also a clear way for brands to reach you. So if you're someone who wants to monetize your social media and brands are looking at you, they're going to say, what is this guy about? Right. And from your first few videos, I'll be able to see, are you about finance? Are you about travel? Are you luxury travel? Are you solo travel? So it really helps in terms of people reaching out for partnership opportunities. Also helps with building a community that's loyal to you and that you can eventually monetize as well, if that's something you're interested in.
So thank you.
Yeah, I also agree. It's definitely important to find the niche that works for you. I tried a couple of, well, I was primarily doing the parenting niche, which I would say is pretty saturated, highly saturated actually, whereas I moved into sort of talking about Ghana, which was not saturated at all. And there was a high demand for the content. So I found out, you know, high demand with low supply, and that really worked. But there is also, like, let's say you are going into the parenting niche, there is ways to do it that haven't been done, and or you're doing just vlogging and people end up loving you as a person and they just want to follow your journey. It's quite difficult though, because when I started with the parenting, I was maybe at like 3,000 subscribers. I'd shaved all my hair off at that point, and that video did really, really well. And so I thought, oh, should I like change the whole channel to a hair channel, right? And I actually don't know how to look after my hair, but I was considering it, and I thought, you know what, let me just try it. So sometimes you can get swayed by like the views. Should I actually do this? And I spoke to some people at YouTube at the time, and they basically said, you know, you have to talk about what you can talk about for years to come. Like you can obviously change your direction, but there's no point in just doing it just for the views. Basically, you have to be passionate about it in order for it to work, and people can definitely see through it. I personally at the moment are considering like niching down even further. And because I see people like Ines, who is this like huge real estate YouTuber.
I love him.
Actually, like, he's one of my faves. He's maybe close to like 3 million subscribers. And he only does one thing, basically, which is house tours. And he does not deviate from that. And I do think when you niche down that much, it's very easy for people to subscribe because they know what's coming next. Whereas I do a bit of, I am quite niche down, but I still do a little bit of everything. Whereas I think it can sometimes be slower for you to build in that way.
Thank you. And I know sometimes too, especially with our generation, since we've grown up with phones, right? We expect things instantly, right? So how do you stay committed, especially when things are blowing up as fast as you want it to blow up, right? Or things are booming now. So how do you stay committed and how do you stay passionate about content creation and to prevent you from burning out?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to go into it with really just enjoying it from the start, right? If you go into it with the idea of, I just want to make money, you're going to find yourself taking maybe sponsorships that don't even align with your channel, right? So someone offers you $500 to talk about fruit snacks, but your channel is about, travel or something else. It doesn't align with your audience, right? So I definitely think that you really got to focus on, what do I really love talking about, and let the views, let the attention come over time. And it's hard. It really is hard. I mean, I think after I posted about 10 videos or 8 to 10 videos when my videos really started to pick up. And then from there, it just kind of, rolls and you find your stride. So you got to be with this and with social media. I think it's definitely, you got to play the long game. And you got to be willing to kind of put the feelings of, damn, like, what's wrong with me? Or why isn't this working? Sometimes it just needs time, and also you'll start to see, like, people will give you feedback on your videos. Like, hey, we really love this. Can we see this? This content, or hey, we really want to see you talk about something else, and people will kind of give you feedback, which you can then use to continue to grow your channel and continue to find your stride.
So thank you.
Yeah, I'd say it's absolutely not easy, and having a clear goal and vision is very important. I had a vision and a goal of reaching 100,000 subscribers. And to get there, I was absolutely committed and dedicated. I uploaded 3 times a week. And I feel like consistency is so important in growing on social media. And it takes time. Like, I didn't make any money for 2 years. So to do something for 2 years and not make money from it, you have to actually enjoy what you're doing. And so, but now I hit 100,000 subscribers, and then I was kind of like, oh, what next? So it's just making sure that you know your why. Why are you doing this? Like, why is the reason that you want to keep creating videos? Who are you helping? Is this really what you want to keep doing? And if it is, the consistency needs to happen. And yeah, you basically just need to keep going. But there is times where I am, like, burnout happens, especially if you're creating so much content. Like, 3 videos a week it's a lot. It's a full-time thing. Like, if you're not shooting, you're editing, and you can get burnt out. And I do think it's important when you do get burnt out to stop. So, like, I do have periods where I just like stop completely doing anything for, like, let's say a month, and then coming back, because you can't, I heard this quote, and it was about, like, you can't squeeze from lemons unless you, like, root the tree, because the lemons won't keep coming. So you just have to, like, take a moment if you get to a point where it's all a bit too much.
Right.
Thank you. And I think both of you said that both of you asked, right? And maybe the audience can share also in the chat. What do you care about? I see Tasia she has her video on, so I see that she's in a classroom, right? So maybe some of you are educators. Maybe you can also share about educating, or even in New York City, right? How's our education system? What do teachers need to buy, right? Maybe some of you are focused on beauty and lifestyle. What products do you use to focus on your niche, right? I think there's also space for everyone in this group too, or everyone in this space also. Joey asks another question. When first starting out, should we focus more on quantity or quality of content?
Yeah, I mean, I think my channel, if you look at my channel, I don't have like a crazy number of videos. And I kind of post maybe once a month. I think it's so important to have quality content, and really think about all the components of the video. So and I'm not saying go out and buy a $6,000 camera, but I am saying quality of what are you talking about? You know, how did you put the video together? You know, is there a story that people can actually catch on to? And then also other components like what does your thumbnail look like? What is the title of the video? All of those things that will also help YouTube to show your video to more people. So I would definitely say go for quality, but also in the beginning, yes, you do have to be consistent, to really build that momentum and build that that audience that wants to follow you. And people don't want to come to your channel and see maybe 2 or 3 videos once every 6 months. So, you know, you do have to kind of keep it consistent. I would suggest finding something that works for you. So finding a formula for me, obviously, because I'm juggling, managing my businesses, I know that I'm not going to be able to shoot and edit every single week and so on. So it's really like, okay, one video works for me and I'm going to make it a banging video, you know, and that's something at least that I can commit to. And of course, once you see how many people are interested in your content, you'll even want to post more because you're feeling the excitement from your audience.
I think there's 2 ways you can go. Like, I'm definitely all for quality, and I try and make my videos like as high quality as possible, but I also kind of go for the quantity route. And I think especially in the beginning, I've slowed down. Like, I don't upload 3 videos a week anymore, and I do think that it works if you do an amazing video, like what Chidi was saying, like once a month, or let's say once every 2 weeks, if you can make it really, really good. But I think if it's like not absolutely amazing, you should definitely upload probably more than that. I think to begin with, I personally would suggest uploading at least once a week. But if you can do more than once a week, like twice a week or 3 times a week, it's just going to like accelerate the process. It also allows you to learn and figure out what people like and what people don't like. I've also realized more recently, there's been videos that I've spent so much time on, like, let's say, you know, I've shot over days and it's taken days to edit, and it's just not done as well as like a video where I'm just shooting it on my phone. Like, I went to Nigeria and I actually did bring my camera, but I didn't use it all the time. I used my phone, and that video did really, really well. So sometimes people just want good quality content in terms of like the idea and what you're showing. It doesn't necessarily have to be done with like the best camera. Like, you know, I normally shoot with like a really nice camera, but this was just with my phone. And I actually use my phone so much now. And if you'd asked me a year ago, I would have said I would never use my phone to shoot. But there's just occasions that I wouldn't even be able to take my camera out in, that I can use my phone, get that moment that people can see and people can engage with.
And I think that makes content creating more accessible, right? Because I think sometimes the price of content creating scares a lot of people too. I had to pay for this camera, this mic, right? But again, using your phone, something that we have, right? We're also able to bring people in different ways too. Anushka asked, how do you both feel about YouTube Shorts?
So I'm actually, I've got a YouTube Shorts partner manager, which is like somebody within YouTube that I have meetings with, and they talk about shorts and stuff like that. So what I've realized is that so what I've seen from shorts in general, and I actually just spoke to one of my friends that does YouTube today about shorts, and she took shorts seriously for 1 month. So she posted a lot of shorts in 1 month, and she saw huge growth of her channel. Not only like from the view side, but also from the subscribers. They also have the Shorts Fund, which I'm sure people have heard about, which is like an $100 million fund, which they're giving out to creators making shorts, because you make money in a different way from shorts. So normally from a YouTube video, aside from sponsorships and stuff like that, you get YouTube AdSense. But with shorts, it's not the same way. They basically look at high performing videos and they give you like a sort of bonus, and they choose the price. I think the highest you can get is, I don't know if it's $30,000 or $10,000. Anyway, it's quite a lot of money for just one short video. So what I've seen is that it really, really works. But I've tried it a couple of times, but again, you have to be consistent with it. It's totally different. It's not really what I normally create. I don't really normally create short content. So it's just something that I have to lean into, and I'm definitely going to try it because I just think, why not? And I know that YouTube really wants people to use it. And when YouTube wants people to use something, they're definitely going to push it.
Right.
And I guess the key concept is that consistency is key, right? So what are some of the challenges that you both have faced on YouTube, getting your page up with your businesses? What have been some of your challenges, and how were you able to overcome some of those challenges too?
Yeah, I mean, for me, one of the biggest challenges is staying consistent. I guess what we talked about just now is, you want to be able to kind of find a stride and find something that works for you. And sometimes you can have this amazing video idea, not work out, not post it. So it's kind of like sometimes it's like a hit or miss every month with being consistent. But again, consistency is key. And so that's really one of the best ways to continue to grow your audience. I think what I've noticed now, though, is that when you have a backlog of really good videos, people will keep coming back for those, and YouTube will keep pushing that. And so that's something that's been exciting that I really didn't think about when I started YouTube is you will still make money from videos that you posted a year or 2 years ago, because people are still watching that if the content is relevant. So if you're creating content so for example, a lot of my videos are travel related videos. So I see a lot of people watching like my Greece videos or my Bali videos when they're about to travel for the summer, or travel when travel is at an all-time high, right? And so those are like, to me, in my mind, like timeless pieces that you will continue to earn from, or at least continue to get people to watch. And so that's something that's really exciting about YouTube. Even if you are not able to continue pumping out as many videos as you used to, if you create good quality content, people will still be able to utilize your channel.
Yeah, for me, there was definitely a time when I struggled with like comments. So I used to read every single comment. There's an app called YouTube Studio, which when you start a YouTube channel, or if you've already got one, you should definitely have on your phone. Well, actually, I'm saying that, but at the same time, I'm going to say that I checked it like every minute of every day. And so on there, it shows you all your new comments. And I used to if there was bad comments, it actually affected me, and I'd feel like so sad, so terrible. And then it would affect me even wanting to create more videos on YouTube. So anyway, it got to a point where I just said, I'm not actually doing that anymore. Why am I reading all these comments? These people, it's amazing that people are watching my channel, but I don't need to see everything that everyone wants to say about me or, my family or anything like that. So now what I do is I go onto my actual channel and I'll comment under comments, but I'll mainly look at the top ones, and they're normally the ones that are liked. So they're normally positive comments, so then I don't get to the negative ones that are at the bottom. And then what else have I sort of struggled with? I think that's probably the main thing. Also motivation, keeping going, because as I spoke about before, burnout, knowing which direction to go in, and all of those things. I just take a moment, write things down, talk to other people who are in the same space, and then, move forward.
Yeah, comments is definitely an interesting one because, I feel like no matter how long you're on social media, because you are a person, there's some comments that just really you're like, wow, I can't believe someone would say that. But yeah, I guess it takes time, to figure that out and to kind of brush it off. And I like your formula for kind of missing the comments thing. So I'm definitely going to try that one.
I feel like we're all learning in this space together. We learned about short funds, YouTube, Studio, and I think you both read Elvin's mind. Elvin sent me a direct message about how do you handle negative comments, right? And I think with a lot of us too, some of them may want to work 9-to-5 jobs. So they had to find a ways to handle and to manage the comment side, the privacy side, while also pursuing their passions on YouTube also. Lusu asks, what are the best apps for editing sites, and how do you edit your videos?
So with me, you can go ahead, Vanessa.
No, feel free.
Okay. So one of the cool things, again, I'm kind of juggling two businesses, right? And so the way that I see YouTube is a really great part of my personal life outside of work, and a medium that kind of helps my work, right? And so I've kind of had to realize early on that it wasn't going to be conducive to edit every video. And so one of the cool things that you could do is go on Fiverr.com or go to Upwork.com, and you can find people that will edit your video for $30, $50, depending on obviously the complexity of the video. So if you're someone who maybe is working a 9-to-5 job, you don't have the time, but you maybe want to put aside some funds, towards editing, I would definitely suggest finding a good editor that's affordable, that can assist you with editing your videos. It also helps you if you want to stay consistent, because they can edit it, you can schedule the video, and you can kind of go about your day-to-day life, and YouTube then becomes another source of income. Aside from that, I have my partner, and he actually learned how to edit videos, specifically when I said I wanted to start a YouTube channel. So that's been pretty cool as well. So when he's not busy, he's the one that edits pretty much like a lot of my videos. So that's been really cool as well.
So I use Final Cut Pro, and also, yeah, that's the main tool that I use, which is on Macs, like Apple laptops and computers. And I think that one is like $300. But the alternative is iMovie, which comes free on Macs and Apple computers. If you're on PC, then I've also used Premiere Pro. I used to work at the BBC for a bit, and they use Premiere Pro, which actually ends up being more expensive, because I think it's about $45 per month, and that's like forever. So over time, obviously that adds up. But there's other alternatives, like there's DaVinci, and other alternatives on PC as well. But personally, I use Final Cut. I find it very easy and like intuitive to editing. I also, for my thumbnails, I use PicMonkey, which is not that expensive. I think it's like $14 per month for the pro version, or you can get the free version. But with the pro version, the main reason why I bought it is you can like cut out a person, like it cuts out the background. If you can do things like Photoshop, obviously you don't need that, but I can't do anything like that. So I do PicMonkey for the thumbnails, and then for my music, I use Epidemic Sounds, which is about $10 per month. And there you can use all copyright-free music that you pay for, which is very important, because in my early days, I used to just go on YouTube and type in copyright-free music, and so many of those videos are now like strikes in terms of copyright, which means that all the money is now going to the artist and not coming to me. So because what people end up doing is they make it copyright-free music on YouTube, so that people like me, who are, not that smart, use it, and then 2 years later, they will not make it copyright-free, so that they then get all the money from those videos. And some of those videos have done so well and made a lot of money. So definitely find something like, there's Artlist, I use Epidemic Sounds. There's different subscriptions you can have for editing. And I also don't edit every single one of my videos. I used to. My husband works with me, so he edits some videos, and I have another guy here that edits some of my videos as well.
Thank you. And I think Professor Cohen wants to add something else too.
I just wanted to add for all the students here that we have, Queens College students have access to the entire Adobe Creative Suite. It's a very expensive software package, and you can use it at the labs, and I think you can even download it at home. So if you're going to get started and you want to learn a package that has commercial applications and will look good on your resume, take advantage of you being a student and try out that software.
Amazing. You'll save so much money.
Right.
Definitely. And I think you both brought up really good points about finding the right people around you, whether it's your partners or your friends to support you. Maybe even friends who maybe they like to edit. Maybe you can get a friend to edit for you. Maybe you get a friend to take the photos for you, or even do your thumbnail for you also. So I think the good question is, right, find out who's around you, right? Find out what people around you love to do too, and how you can incorporate them on your journey also. I also wanted to ask you, what other careers are tied to content creating? What about the videographers, the editors, anything else that we should know about?
Yeah, I mean, videographers is a big one. And you get to even travel with that as well. So if you think about people like Los LeBlanc, he hires videographers that are kind of behind the scenes. If you're someone who doesn't like to be in front of the camera, but you love to get creative, definitely consider videography, photography as well. I think right now, even like social media management is a big one, like managing a channel, coming up with the content. What you'll find is a lot of YouTube stars have a whole team behind them. And sometimes you'll be like, wow, they will have 4 or 5 people who are, in charge of the production, in charge of creating the concepts and reaching out to brands and the brand partnerships and so on. So there's so many now, it's becoming like this whole new industry of people who are able to create a career from social media, and it doesn't always involve you being directly in front of the camera. And then another way that you can utilize social media again is by starting a business, right? And building an online presence. And so that's something that I personally connect with, because I've been able to do that with my travel company, starting that business and then being able to use the power of social media to grow our audience, right? And grow our clientele and show ownership of that specific topic. So when people see you traveling the world, when people see you being a thought leader on a specific topic, they feel more trusting to want to work with you, right? And so that's a really good way to grow your business, because people can kind of see that you walk the walk and you're about what your business is about. And then the same is being able to also invest in tech as well, from YouTube and from being able to monetize my business and my channel and so on. And so that's a really cool way where you can kind of take that and leverage, social media and then pull it into other directions that you might be interested in.
Yeah, I've also recently started a business called the Ghana Guide, which right now we sell itineraries. So anyone wanting to travel to Ghana, because I got a lot of emails asking like, where should I go? And so we started this company called the Ghana Guide. We sell itineraries. There's 7 different itineraries for all different travel experiences. And that came off the back of the queries that I got. Another thing that there's several things that I've had the opportunity of doing, sort of careers that have come from my YouTube channel. Another one is real estate. So we've sold like millions of dollars worth of property from showing the properties on my channel. And I get a commission from that, which is amazing. I probably make more from that definitely than I do from YouTube directly. And then I've also was a presenter on BBC Sounds podcast, a documentary. I did a lot of radio and TV when I was living in Scotland. And last year I was named one of the YouTube Black Creator Class of 2021, which was absolutely incredible. Like YouTube also has this YouTube Black Fund that they're doing, which again is like 100 million that they're putting towards Black creators. And honestly, YouTube as a company, I really love them. Obviously it's Google. They have a lot of money to put behind their creators, and I feel like they really care. They give us seed funding, and they also give us a lot of support. And we got to meet a lot of different people as well. I'm kind of like dabbling in TV presenting. But from the other side, as Chidi was saying, like there's graphic designers, and actually a good channel to look at to see the behind the scenes is Ali Abdal Vlogs. So Ali Abdal is like a big creator, absolutely love his channel. He's just started a vlog. Well, I think he started it a while ago, but he's just started daily uploads. And so you get to see him go into his office, and he has like 20 plus employees, and you kind of get to see what all their different jobs are. So I was watching his channel yesterday, and he has somebody who just does After Effects, which is on the Adobe suite. So that's just like things that pop up. So let's say he says, oh, and today we're talking about productivity. It's just like the word productivity popping up. He has somebody doing all that graphic design. And there's strategists and analysts looking at the data of the YouTube channel to figure out what you should do next. Talent managers. So I actually previously had an agent for a bit. And, you know, that is a big, you know, career. Like you're getting 15% of any like deals that are coming in for your creators, and you're going to probably have a pool of multiple creators under you as well. So yeah, there's so many options. If you don't want to be the on-screen talent of a YouTube channel, there's so many ways you can get involved behind the scenes.
Right.
Thank you. And I think we're learning a lot too about Ali Abdal's, and I think you're all mentioning other content creators also. So it's really awesome how you're empowering other people in your fields too. And I think that's what we should try to promote more. And hopefully what you all promote too in your classes, in your fields and more. So we have a question from Elvin also. How do you see yourself, or how do you both see yourselves within the next 10 years relating to your YouTube channels? What are your 10-year goals?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting one, right? Because you evolve naturally as a person. So you might, you know, when I was 3 years ago, I was traveling constantly. And I was the type of person that was in a new location every other week, every 2 weeks, living in Thailand and so on. And so that was my life. And now, you know, a few years later, I have to be in an office. I have to kind of juggle a team and all these things. So the travel side of me has definitely slowed down. And so that's been the dilemma, is how do you continue to feed and give that content that people came to you for originally? I think in that case, for me, and what I see myself doing long term is really opening up my YouTube channel to other sides of me. And, you know, so pivoting into talking about tech, talking about entrepreneurship, and still also showing travel here and there when I go on vacation. So I think it's while you can niche down, you should be able to have that flexibility to let your channel grow as you grow. And you don't need to feel forced to stay in one to stay in one specific niche that is no longer your reality, right? Because then your content isn't as genuine. And I think that it's okay to let that channel evolve. So for example, if you look at the makeup industry, right? 3 years ago, makeup videos were the thing, right? Everyone was posting an eyeliner, highlighter, makeup review video. If you look at the makeup industry today, okay, we've seen it all now, you know, and you're seeing a lot of makeup influencers pivot to getting more personal and telling us, you know, about their day-to-day lives, or maybe some of them are pivoting into fitness. Some of them have moved to talk about lifestyle and managing a home and parenting or whatever it is. So I think that a lot of time people might come for that niche, but they'll stay for you. And so you get to kind of use that to your advantage. And once they're connected to you, they'll stay and encourage you, you know, and the people who don't connect with that will find somewhere else, but that's just the natural cycle.
Yeah, I think that there's kind of two types of YouTube channel. One is idea-based and one is personality-based. So the personality-based ones are more like the vlogs. I personally watch majority personality-based channels, like vlog channels, just really interested in people's lives. But my own channel is more idea-based. So every video that I make is pretty much an idea, and that is the subject of the channel. It's not really about me so much, although I have done some vlogs here and there. But I think moving forward, I'll probably get more into like vlogging, because I'm going to start building my house, kind of like Chidi did. Absolute inspiration. Your house is amazing. So I'm definitely going to like vlog the process and film the process of the house build. And I would love to basically start being a developer and build houses for other people as well. So I'd love to kind of like show that whole process on my channel. So kind of like pivoting in that way.
Thank you. And then Professor Cohen wants to add something else also.
I have to go, and I wanted to put a small commercial in for the Queen's Podcast Lab before I leave. And I wanted to tell everybody who's here that's in my 140 class, you're not excused. You have to show up for final presentations. But in all seriousness, if you are inspired by these creators and you are interested in becoming a creator yourself, whether it's on YouTube or TikTok or podcasts or whatever, if you're going to be back in the fall, come reach out to us at the Queen's Podcast Lab. We're building a community of creators. We have facilities. We have professional development activities. We even have paid internships. So if you're going to be back in the fall, write me an email, or you can write Carmine or me at joseph.cohen@qc.cuny.edu. And we'd love to have all of you join us if you're interested. And I wanted to thank you, Carmine, for arranging this. It was awesome. So best of, this isn't the end. I just have to leave. Thank you very much, Carmine.
Of course. Thank you, Professor Cohen. Awesome. And I think we have some more. And I think we should also take advantage of what school provides us also. I think that even though, life after you graduate is amazing too, but life while you're still in the institution or still at Queen's College can also help you, with getting apps for free, with using software for free also. So make sure you're taking advantage of not only both their amazing words, right, but also the knowledge that they're giving to you too, right? Let's learn from them so that way you can be as cool as them, one day, and also, be invited to speak to colleges and all around the world and be such amazing people inside and out. I have a question from Lusu. How do you decide on a manager once your channel becomes successful, or is self-management the best?
So I kind of got to a point where I thought, I get a lot of emails, and I thought, do I need like a PA, like a personal assistant, somebody that helps with my emails and my sort of calendar, or should I get sort of like an agent who deals primarily with my brand partnerships and potentially bringing in new brand partnerships. And so I got an agent, but it wasn't just an agent for this, it was like an agent for like TV stuff as well. But I feel like it's very important to find like an agent who is doing what you want to do. So they have creators under their belt who are like, let's say, doing the brand sort of partnerships you want to do, and you've seen that they have managed to do that. But now I don't have anyone and I do it all myself. And to be honest, I think it's fine. Like I'm fine with like managing my own things. I do think if you have like a specific content creator manager, you might be able to get more opportunities, but I'm okay just now with like the opportunities that come directly my way. So yeah.
Chidi, do you want to piggyback, or are you okay?
Oh yeah, I didn't chime in because I've never had a specific manager for my channel. For me, I filter a lot of the emails requests I get by myself, and I've kind of made my channel centered specifically around making sure that whatever I talk about aligns with what my audience wants to hear about. And I think that that's something, to touch on that topic, whatever brand that you decide to work with, whatever opportunities come your way, I would definitely recommend, not just, initially the excitement of like having someone knock on your door is really fun, but you should pretty soon think about how you want to manage all of those inquiries and create a value-based system for yourself, or create a set standard for yourself of these are the type of companies that I want to work with. These are the type of brands that align with my values. And that will make it so much easier to be able to spot the right opportunities for you, because you're going to get a lot of different people like want to send you free stuff to mention them and so on and so forth. And so my motto is give value, and then ask for business. So whenever I promote something on my channel, I really want people to listen and to know that I'm not just going to sell them anything. And I think that that's something that's really important in terms of being a content creator, is building trust with your audience. And, so whatever you talk about, make sure it's something that you absolutely believe in and that aligns with your values. And that makes it much easier to then filter out opportunities that come your way.
Awesome. Yeah, filtering out opportunities that come your way, knowing what you love, knowing what you care about, what you're passionate about, and also sticking true to yourself too, right? People will love you for who you are, right? And I think that also that authenticity adds a lot of value to channels too, and also work and business also. So how do you both continue to break such amazing barriers? What barriers have you faced? How do you continue to break them day in and day out, especially since you're abroad and you're able to target, or you're able to bring so many people together?
Yeah, I mean, for me, social media has really just opened the floodgates in terms of, you know, having access to amazing people from different backgrounds, different cultures, being able to kind of speak to people in your community and have people kind of look at your journey and feel inspired. And I think sometimes when you're in the little bubble, you don't realize how many people you're actually touching. So that's been something that's been really, really exciting. Sometimes it gets to a point where it just feels like a number on the screen, but those are actual people that are connecting with your story. And I feel like that in itself is really breaking barriers, opening up, you know, to show people what is possible for people that look like me and even beyond, right? Young people, I get a lot of people on my channel like, you're so young, how do you do this and how do you do that? Or people that are like, there's no way. But that's exciting because I want people to feel that it is possible, right? So yeah, we're breaking barriers for me is through connecting with people, being able to touch people, being able to make new friendships, get advice from people that I would normally never have crossed paths with. And that's super, super exciting. And being kind of connected to new communities as well. So YouTube has become a really good way of networking, finding opportunities, and also leveraging that audience to build and go in different directions for my life.
I feel like there's several ways that I've kind of like broke barriers. First of all, you know, I'm a mother with 2 children, and I've managed to like uproot our life from Scotland to Ghana with my husband purely through my YouTube channel and creating content and building up, you know, my revenue to a point where I could support the whole family. You know, it's not normally seen as like the woman would be like the breadwinner. And especially when my husband was in like a very sort of like high flying career and he was able to leave that to come and work with me. Like I was so proud of like that moment. And also just being able to highlight stories here that people wouldn't see basically if there wasn't YouTube. Like people aren't showing these sort of things, maybe a bit more now on mainstream TV, but without YouTube and being able to just like tell our own story and me be able to speak to people who can tell their story direct to camera, which can just like blast out to the whole world, is so, so incredible. And I think it's changed so many people's opinions on Ghana. And I even know that from the people that I encounter that are just like, we had no idea, like nobody's ever shown us this. Nobody ever told us this at school or showed us this on TV, but from your channel, I've been able to see that there is this side of Ghana as well. So yeah, that's how I think I've broken barriers.
So yeah, I think both of you are like the epitome of like changing narratives, right? And making it possible to people that can see that it is possible to achieve such success. It is possible to continue breaking barriers and different barriers too. So as women of color, as women on YouTube, how do you both combat microaggressions that are thrown at you?
Oh gosh, it's funny because when I posted my house tour video, so the funny thing is every single video that I post, I always mention, you know, my businesses, and I'm always like, you know, go check out, this is what I do for a living. But I always seem to get the same comments like, where does she get this money from? Or there's no way, like people calculating what they think your income is. And they're like, there's no way that you can do this. And, you know, I think that especially as a woman in business, and then a woman on YouTube that's putting herself out there, people have the perception that you are funded by someone else, or that whatever your success is because they always attribute your success to someone else, and they can never fathom that, you know, maybe you did just put in the work, right? And so for me, a big way that I've been able to kind of combat that is just keep on shining. Sometimes the comments, they get to you a little bit, but you know, being able to stand in your power, being able to be confident, being able to express yourself confidently online, I think is a superpower. And the best way to tackle these aggressions is to keep shining and to keep showing people, you know, why what you do is so amazing and why you are so amazing. So, you know, sometimes you get caught up in that. But for every person that is negative, for every person that makes certain comments, there's hundreds of people that are literally cheering you on, excited. They want to see your content. And it's easy to kind of get yourself boggled down by the, you know, the hate sometimes, but it's so important to just use the positive energy that's coming your way as fuel to keep on doing what you love. And so that's something that I've been doing, is just kind of taking all the positivity, which is 10 times anything that any troll could say, and just keep showing people excellence as a woman of color, and hopefully inspiring other women of color to see that there's so many opportunities for us out there, whether it's you being directly in front of the camera as a YouTuber, whether it's you using YouTube to, you know, channel to fund your business or your entrepreneurial journey. So there's so many ways that you can do that. And yeah, that's the fun part.
Yeah, I think definitely having like tunnel vision and just ignoring what people have to say is so important, because otherwise, I mean, I just don't like focusing on negative things full stop in my life, whether that's like what I watched on Netflix. I mean, this has changed. I used to watch those sort of murder mystery things all the time. But, you know, like I try and just watch positive things. And yeah, in terms of my channel, just like tunnel vision, there's been occasions where, especially when I was in Scotland, I'd say now I'm in Ghana, so there's not so much sort of like racism or anything like that. But when I was in Scotland, you know, there was a lot of that sort of thing. But I just kept going on what I was doing and what I wanted to do, and being able to achieve like greatness, like what you're saying, is so important, because it just shows those people like, as much as whatever you think, like we can still do whatever we want to do. I think that's the most important thing. Like whatever you put your mind to, you're able to actually achieve, whatever that is, whether it's like a grade at university or, you know, a number of subscribers you want to hit. If you keep putting in the work, you'll definitely get there. So I think that's just why I always tell myself.
Thank you. And I guess it's also tied to both the essence that it is possible, and also to stand in your power, right? Standing your truth. And also look at the positives instead of the negatives also, because I think that sometimes the negatives weigh us down, but there's so many positives that sometimes are overshown. Yeah, or get outshined in our society today also. So what is your hope for incoming content creators? What do you hope for the new generation coming up? Yeah,
I would say get rid of the vanity metrics. A lot of people focus on the numbers that they see from other people, right? And so you're seeing this person is like, oh, she grew her channel in this amount of time. She was able to do this. And you're always focused on the vanity metrics. You're not as focused on just enjoying the process, and really focusing on yourself. Stay in your lane, focus on your lane and kind of look ahead, rather than focusing on what everyone else is accomplishing. And it's okay to kind of look at other people, pat them on the back and use that as inspiration. But I think that in this day and age where so many people want to come into the world of content creation, it's easy to compare yourself to other people. And I think it's so important to really just find what works for you and go at it 110%. Don't let yourself get caught up in what everyone else has going on, because that's the quickest way to nowhere, right? That's the quickest way to end up, you know, not enjoying the process and end up, not being able to continue what you're doing. So yeah, I would just say, don't compare yourself, get rid of the vanity metrics. A lot of times you can still monetize with a small community, which is something that I found out that a lot of people, don't always know, is even if you have 10,000 followers, if those 10,000 followers really truly connect with you, you have so much more power than someone who has 100,000 followers that are pretty much, they're not really connected. They're just coming there for a quick show and they don't think twice about it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Honestly, I feel like you've covered so many of the points. But yeah, just I think, sitting down, figuring out what's maybe different about you, what you're passionate about, what you've maybe searched for on YouTube before and not being able to find, because there's actually still things out there that aren't online. Sometimes I'm shocked. I'm like looking for something and I'm like, wow, like nobody's made a video about that. That's the sort of thing you need to make a video about, because other people will be searching for that sort of thing. And yeah, just making sure you find your niche, staying consistent, making good quality content. And that means, like, if you're using your phone, make sure you're in good light. So lighting is so important, whether that's just standing in front of a window or going outside, not basically being in a dark room, and making sure that the audio is clear. So you're in a space that doesn't have music playing in the background, because you will be demonetized, because that music's probably copyright. Or if you're in a room, it's not that echoey, even though I'm actually in an echoey room right now. Or, like making sure that you are in a space that the audio sounds crisp. You can even, like, if you're doing voiceover, put a duvet over your head. I still do that sort of thing. So yeah, audio, video being well lit, and then making sure you use things like, the thumbnail well, the title well. Make sure you make searchable content, especially in the early days. Writing things that people are searching for, looking at Google Trends, making sure that basically people are looking for that sort of content, because they're not going to find you if you just write day in the life going to the coffee shop, until you're somebody like Patricia Bright, who's got millions of subscribers and people want to know what she's buying from the coffee shop. So, until you get to that level, make searchable content.
Right.
Thank you. And does anyone from the chat have any final questions that they would like to ask at this point? Any final questions anyone want answered? Oh, Sonia asks, do hashtags work?
So I don't hashtag. So do you mean the hashtags at the top? Because I've seen that it's like a new feature that people can put hashtags just under the video. I've never tried it personally, but so I don't know.
I say go for and do whatever you think is going to boost your video. Even if it's adding hashtags, I add hashtags to my videos as just an extra way. It's there. So I'm like, maybe this is an extra way to boost the video. It takes 1 minute to do it. So just do whatever YouTube is giving you, because, you never might know the exact thing that is pushing someone to your video. Hashtags have worked really well on other social media for me, and so I believe if it's effective on somewhere like Instagram or TikTok, then definitely I'm using it for YouTube.
Awesome, thank you both. Casey asks, any tips on making your first video? So I'm happy we're inspiring some people to do their first video. So any tips that you have?
It's funny because my first video, I was overthinking it. I was like, I need to come in with a bang and I need to do this, I need to do that. And you end up in a state where you actually don't get anything done because you're trying to do the most. So I would say for your first video, don't overthink it. Just put it out. I mean, the quicker you can put the video out. Obviously, again, make searchable content, make it something that people will be looking for, right? That's important. But don't overthink it, because as soon as it comes, it goes, and then you need to be on to the next one. So a lot of times the first video initially might not get the most views, but it is so significant in the way that it prepares you for YouTube, right? And so it's a nice way to kind of get comfortable with being in front of the camera, talking to a camera, and so on. So embrace that, embrace the fact that you're learning, embrace the fact that it's something new, pat yourself on the back because you are finally doing it, especially if you're someone who's been thinking about it for a long time. Enjoy making that video, put it out there and get right to the next one. I would say that, because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And then they never get to it because they think it needs to be some crazy first start to your channel, and it really doesn't need to be. And again, the views might not even come until much later on for that specific video.
Awesome. Yeah. So Casey, go for it and let me know how it goes, please. I'll definitely be one of your first viewers if possible. We have a question from Lusu to Vanessa. Hi, Vanessa. I am also a mom of two, one 3-year-old and one 7-month-old. Can you give me advice on how I can schedule doing my videos and being a mom? Because it's difficult finding time for myself, and I find myself pushing my dreams aside.
Amazing to hear that you're at uni and you want to start a channel. I actually, when I had my son, I was at university. I went straight back and I had literally exams when he was 1 week old. So I feel where you're coming from. So what I did with my daughter, I think she was around the same sort of age when I started my channel. And I used to film. So I did everything at home at that point, mainly, although I did like family vlogs. So what I did is I used to film when she was napping. So I would film, but you've got a 3-year-old, so I don't know if they would nap. But anyway, I would basically film any moment I had time, or if I could maybe have somebody look after the children for like 30 minutes. You can probably film a video in like 30 minutes to 1 hour if it's a sit down video. If you could have somebody watch the children or when they're sleeping, you can film and then edit again, maybe when they're sleeping. That's what I did, because my husband was at work, so I was the one looking after the kids. Or even if he was back on the weekends, he could maybe watch them for a bit whilst I worked. I do think there was a period of time of like a year when I was uploading so much. And I was also traveling to Ghana to film and stuff like that, that I had like no days off. It felt like I was just working every single day. I barely saw the kids, barely saw my husband. And I think there's definitely like a balance to be had, which that probably wasn't it, but obviously it served a purpose at the time. So I think it's just like finding those moments that you can find in your day. It isn't easy, but just trying to make it happen if it's what you want to do. Definitely.
Yeah. Awesome. And also maybe even to utilizing the nighttime also, even though you might be getting less sleep. So I don't know if that's promoting self-care at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think it's amazing to acknowledge like the struggles too, the realities of pushing out content also as parents, as young adults, as workers, as business owners too. So thank you so much for your question. Sunny asks, when should I start investing in a camera? And then Charlene asks, what is something you choose not to share or show on your platform?
So with regards to the investing in a camera, I would suggest invest in a camera once you start to gain traction on your channel. Don't think that, I mean, nowadays we see like everyone, they have this amazing graphics and all these crazy stuff. And so you think like you need to match that. In the beginning, you really just need to figure out like what works for you, what style of videos work for your audience, or what type of content do you enjoy making. So you don't necessarily need to go right ahead and invest in a camera if it's something that's not in your budget. It's always a nice to have, but it's not an absolute must in the beginning. Once you start to gain traction where you are seeing more views come in to the channel and you're like, okay, I'm ready to level up and I have the budget, then I would suggest, investing in a camera, but take everything in steps and stages. And then with regards to the question about what you choose to share or not share, on your platform. For me, I like to stick to specific topics that I love and keep everything else private. So when it comes to who am I, my personal life, who I date, family, and so on, I don't share any of that on social media because I like to separate the two. I think sometimes, unless your channel is specifically centered around your life, sometimes you feel the urge to want to overshare because you feel that it might get you more views. So you have to decide, what are you comfortable with? What's your comfort level? Because there are going to be people out there watching you and kind of following your journey. Are you comfortable with sharing certain aspects of your life? For me, I had to decide that anything relating to my private personal life was off limits on my channel. And I really just wanted to focus on specific topics that I was really passionate about. And that has worked so far. So everyone's different. Everyone has a different comfort level. It really just depends on you and what you enjoy making content about.
So yeah, I previously used to do the parenting stuff. I used to do family vlogs. And then I actually completely changed my mind and I didn't want my kids on social media at all. So I deleted like every video that they were ever in. Even on my Instagram, I deleted every picture that they were in as well. And that is quite a shift because a lot of the other things I was doing, I used to have a podcast called Magnificent Mothers, which to be honest was more about mothers, but a lot of the things I was doing, even on like TV and radio, was all mothering, parenting related, and I completely changed it. And I think what made me change my mind was people started making like hate videos about me, right? And I used to just think, oh my gosh, imagine, not so many, it wasn't like out of control, but just some people here and there made some hate videos. And I thought, imagine they made a video and then my child was in that video. Even thinking about it now, it makes me like basically want to cry because I'm like, they didn't decide to be on this. They're too young to make that decision. And now they could be in somebody's mouth, like in a negative way. And I just thought, nah, like it's really not for me. And I just don't want my kids online at all. So I completely changed the way that I did that. My husband as well isn't really on my channel at all. Like he's never spoken on my channel. He might be like in the background, but it's basically not about my family at all. It's mainly about the people that I'm interviewing or the real estate, or it's not so much about my life.
Thank you. And I feel like it's also important to understand boundaries, right? What are you comfortable sharing? What are you not comfortable sharing? I think that's also a part of your stories too, and a part of your content also, especially since some of you want to be teachers and some of you want to work in politics one day, right? So it's really good to find a fine line with what you're okay with sharing and what you're not okay with sharing. Do you both have any final words for us? And then I'll just leave the Zoom open for a little while if anyone has any private questions they want to ask. But yeah, and either of you can go first. Just some final words.
I just think that this is such an exciting time for everyone. We now have like a time where we can make content without having gatekeepers. You can make whatever you want, put it online. It really wasn't like that before. I've kind of like dabbled in the TV space and there's so many different like barriers and gatekeepers to that space, whether you're working with production companies, TV companies, whereas with YouTube and content creation, Instagram, you can just wake up, make whatever you want and post it online. And it's such an exciting time and it's like really liberating to do that sort of thing. So I think it's just so exciting for everybody. If you want to get into content creation, to just dive right in. It's also a great way to make money. And that's what we do as a full-time job. Obviously, I've got 2 children that we support. So it's possible, basically. You can do it. It takes time. Like I didn't make money for 2 years. So it definitely takes time to build up to that. But you can do it if you want to do it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you there, Vanessa. It's such an exciting time. And for me, I would urge you to think about what is your personal brand. If that's something, the world is changing in a way where everyone wants to know who you are, what are you about, and what do you stand for, right? When I hire someone, I want to know, what are you about? I'm going to go search their LinkedIn. I want to see what are they showing to the world online, right? And it's getting more so like that. And so wherever you stand, if you're in front of the camera, behind the camera, stand for something, right? And be loud and proud about that in whatever way that you choose to do that. And again, like I said earlier, it's so important to realize that there's so many ways to go about content creation, whether you are a business owner, whether you are, you know, a videographer, photographer, whatever it is. There's so many ways to go about it and be in the space and monetize this space. And so I urge you to kind of find what works for you and really just own that and be a thought leader in whatever space you're passionate about. And it really comes down to finding your passion, figuring out you know, what your values are, and really building from that and standing by that.
Thank you. And just to recap, right, the fact that there are no gatekeepers, right? Find out what your personal brand is. Know the opportunities with YouTube Short, the free service that you have available, the programs that only cost $14 a month to utilize, like Vanessa mentioned, right? Stand for something, like Chidi highlights also, right? There are so many ways to get involved. The market is not oversaturated. Everyone can find a place, right? Whether on, you know, in front of the camera or behind the camera. I hope you all enjoyed this panel. Thank you both so much for the emails and, you know, for keeping in constant contact. I know you both are always on the move and you're always, you know, so far. So thank you for gracing us with your presence. Thank you for everything that you've done for us today. We really appreciate it. And thank you to all the participants that stayed behind, that asked questions. I know some of you had class. So thank you again. I hope you all do well during finals week this week. And be safe and have a great day. And if you want to answer some last minute questions, you're more than welcome to ask in the chat now. I'll just end the recording. Cool. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for having us.